You're listening to the SojuTalk Nation Podcast, episode 16.
On today's episode, we discuss this week in music, kingdom, and life adventures.
So sit back and chill with friends. You're listening to The After Show with the SojuTalk Nation. Welcome to the SojuTalk Nation Podcast, a chill discussion on this week in the SojuTalk Nation. We're recording on Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. I'm your host, Crispy, and joining me this week is Koala.
Hello.
How are you, Koala?
I'm tired.
You're always tired.
I think at this point we just gotta wait for the time where I don't answer this question with "I'm tired."
And yet I'm the one waking up at 7:30 in the morning. Cool.
It's been like this for like 7 weeks.
I mean, fair. I mean, school is a thing, and I appreciate that you're able to muster the energy to record and tape and be here. So thank you. Even if it is 4 p.m. for you.
5
in the afternoon. There you go. Some announcements. Soju Sessions this week, episode 4. My guest was No Bias Nuna, and we talk about BTS and McDonald's and Asian identity. So a lot of really cool in-depth discussion between her and I did feel like I learned a lot about her and her story and her perspective of how she got into K-pop and what it all means to her. So definitely check it out if you want like deeper discussions and conversation pieces. The next announcement is no Koala next week. She is dead from school, and that's okay. We wish her the best. Koala, do you have anything you want to say about your absence next week?
I will go to school next week, like actual classes, so I don't know how stressful it will be and how mentally dead I will be after it. So yeah,
it's gonna be an adjustment to go back into the real world. Yeah,
dude, it won't last long. The last time it lasted for 1.5 weeks. Let's see how long this time will last.
Damn. Well, I hope that at least the transition's okay, even if it has to close up again. And if it closes up again, then you'll be back on the show. So there you go. Celebrating the nation this week, we have 2 birthdays. On April 29th, we have I'm Your Joy's number 1, parentheses, Eve Star. So not sure exactly which username they go by, but clearly they are a Joy fan. Clearly they are an Eve fan. Happy birthday on the 29th to you. I hope everyone spams you and pings you on Discord. And on May 3rd, we have Stacey Panda. So I hope everyone pings you on that day as well. Go wish the members of the nation happy birthday. It's always a fun time to recognize and celebrate your day of birth. So, let's move on to This Week in Music. Koala, we have 3 songs this week. They are all male performers. And you know what? I took the time to watch the music videos not once, not twice, but at least 3 times this week. Do I get a round of applause?
That's more than I did.
Exactly. I think I deserve a medal for this. A participation medal at the very least. We're American. We give participation medals away.
Oh my god.
The songs were P1 Harmony with Scared, and Hypen with Drunk Dazed, and AB6IX with Close. Let's start at the top with P1 Harmony and Scared. Okay. So the crew discussion I thought was fairly interesting. Let's just start with Warren. Really likes the song. Warren has recently liked a lot of very angsty, moody songs. Is Warren okay? Koala, do you have an answer?
I don't think so. The thing is, for Antidote, I think he was also the only one putting it on the chart, so there's a clear separation between him and the other two.
Yeah, I don't know if Warren's just in a mood to just feel like the dark and griminess of like performers and music and the music video, but this song is just very I think he put it with like industrial sounds and like a dark palette. To me, like there's streetwear fashion, so I can kind of see where like the concept would be appealing to him, because Warren is a streetwear junkie, and I feel like he's very fashionable that way. But he did also make the metaphor for eating a lot of restaurant food, and then you go home to your mama's cooking, and there's something missing. There's a missing oomph because there's no MSG.
Oh my God.
Did you feel the same way about this song? How it did pack a punch of just like edgy, hip hop ish based idol music, but there was something a little bit missing in the song.
So first of all, more food analogies. Really? I didn't think that was possible at this point, okay? Like, how do you even come up with this? Is he like sitting 5 minutes before the recording thinking of an analogy? Or is this like freestyle? I'm really curious to know.
It's jet lag. I wouldn't be surprised if it was freestyle.
Oh my. But in general, I feel like the song itself doesn't feel like the trend that I like, if that makes sense. It feels very, not very, but like old-ish to me, as if it would be like from 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So like Monster X, Trespassing, or like BAP earlier songs. So I didn't really vibe with it. It was too dark for me. The MV was also pretty dark and edgy, and they were like all acting like some underground kids doing music and shit. But I can get why he likes the song if you just keep in mind that he also liked Antidote. So I think it's like kind of in the same way, and it's still pretty different from each other, but I think the theme of both of the songs is pretty similar to each other.
This song and music video definitely have a throwback to 5 or 6 years ago, where it wasn't the idol performance that we have now, and it's a lot of like, this is a different kind of edgy, because the edgy that we have now is like this edgy like dark
Hardness.
Yeah, it's like it's very theatrical right now, right? Or this is just like, oh, this is just like hard and just like street kids like doing street things. But I will say it is a good separation from SF9, so they did mention that on the show. Because we're getting so much SF9 through Kingdom, you get to really see like the difference between what the two groups can offer, even if P1 Harmony is the younger group between the two. Is that correct? They are the younger one.
Yes, they debuted last year, autumn about, yeah.
Yeah, so I think with kind of that flip in expectation, I think it's a really cool way to approach two boy groups from the same company, with the age gap. But to me, the song was very surprising at first. After watching it a couple times, I understood it. But again, probably not my genre, not something I'll go back into. The only reason why I gave it a second and third watch through was because Warren really connected with this song and music video. So I gave it the benefit of the doubt to try to figure it out. And I understood. It's something I'm not coming back to. But P1 Harmony, keep doing your thing. And I hope that they continue on in a similar direction, but I guess more accessible. I don't even know what that would entail, but it just yeah, something more current, I guess. Trending current, not necessarily like in the current meta, but just like trending current. Any closing thoughts on P1 Harmony, Scared Koala?
No, I don't think so.
Moving on now to Enhypen with Drunk Dazed. This boy group has a lot of hype. They are just, the expectation is very high, but also the music and the quality of production, music video, performance, I think is very high. because of their association with Hybe, B-Lift, Big Hits, etc. But what are your overall thoughts about the music video and I guess the story nature of everything that was happening?
First of all, lore, I don't like it. I don't need it. Please. I guess people enjoy it. Second of all, they just debuted. Why are they talking about being drunk? It kind of doesn't feel right to me. I know that they only have like 2 underage kids, maybe 3, 2, something about that. But it still feels weird. Because if you look at them, they still look pretty young. And they are talking about being drunk at the party and stuff like that. And the MV also shows like some scenes of that. So I was confused by it.
You know what? I'm gonna continue on this trend, and continue with the more critical thoughts and opinions before we celebrate the song and music video. I too am confused by Drunk and Dazed because they look like children, and I do not support underage drinking or debauchery or partying in any sense. However, I guess it's part of a story. I guess it's part of a fantasy world. And I think we've established that you and I are not particularly fond of lore. And I do feel like it is a challenge to continue to follow lore if you are just a casual fan. If you want to experience K-pop in and of itself. So just like the song, music video, and the artistry behind it, but then if you have to go that extra step of connecting the dots and watching all the music videos and following especially ENHYPEN's journey from Island, I feel like it's a lot. That's just me. But again, I know that this group is very popular for a number of reasons because of their association, because of how they were put together, and the fan base is, I would assume, large, and I assume that they would appreciate lore if lore is something that they look forward to. That being said, some positives about the lore. I think the visuals has very pulp 70s, 80s horror imagery, and I really like that. Being a film person, I do kind of like the fantastical elements of kind of flipping from like that modern party scene to like a fountain with blood. And
Crispy.
Yes.
You know what the fountain reminds me of?
What? Oh God, yeah.
Penthouse.
You know what? I would not be surprised if that was like intentionally put there because of the popularity of Penthouse.
I was literally watching that. I kept repeating that part because I was like, why does this seem so similar? It took me like 5 minutes to get it, but it looks like Penthouse where Min Solar. Oh wait, where no one dies.
I mean, it's not really a spoiler. It happens in the first episode, in the first 5 minutes.
It's like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, getting back to the song itself, like, now I can't stop thinking of Penthouse. Great. I do like the horror inspiration. I do like the idea of paying homage to things within the genre, things from Western horror, things from decades past. But again, like, because it's tied into lore and that you have to like place yourself into a larger story that connects over the course of like several music videos. And apparently now they're a Japanese group. That's cool. It seems like a lot. And it detracts a little bit from the music performance and what the music video is in a vacuum by itself. But I did think that when Doug was talking about how much he liked it, then it helped me focus on what the good qualities of the performance were. And I will say, thank you, Doug, for doing that, because I was able to kind of focus on the music video, and it was a lot better the second and third time. Yeah, that's all I got. Any closing thoughts on ENHYPEN?
I actually pretty like that song. I think the only problem is it gets pretty repetitive because they keep doing that days part and dance and whatever comes after that. But I think it's pretty catchy, so I can see why people would really enjoy this. I just think that it's a bit too repetitive for me because they don't change it up too much at the end. But it was a nice music video. It's a good song overall.
Yeah, it's very high production, very large budget. I can appreciate like good quality in like music video. And I think I would like the song more if I'm just listening to it on Spotify or just the song itself. It is catchy, and I thought Doug made a really great point. This party seems kind of fun. You know what? If there wasn't murder and like blood, it kind of looks fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's a party I would go to, and I would be drunk as well because I like doing that.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Any closing thoughts, Koala, on being drunk and dazed?
What? I'm not. Oh wait, I am legal aged. Anyway,
Germany.
let's just continue with a
Beer.
close up.
All right. Well, our next song is AB6 with Close. Doug said close. I was also like questioning if it was close or close. I'm just gonna go with close because it fits really well with our title and our wordplay. So our title, if you didn't see it already, is AB6 Close Up Abs. And the thumbnail that our wonderful artist OP created for us is, you know what? I'm not even going to describe it. If you haven't already seen it, if you're not already looking on the YouTube channel, you know what? You should go over there and check it out.
Ooh.
You know what? I'll let you take it over, Koala. What are your thoughts, feelings, opinions, and who is this man with abs?
It's Woon. Oh, and I can get why Doug didn't really think that Woon would be that ripped because he looks very small and just soft. But I knew that before because he has shown it in the past quite a couple of times. I think like most memorable one would be his solo MV. I don't remember when they released it though. And I think it's like close up because if you look at the lyrics of the song, it makes more sense if it's like close and not close. Pronunciation is confusing me right now. Oh my god. But anyway, the setting for the song, I really want to know where that place is. What? Why does everyone love that circular building?
Yeah, that building seems to be in a lot of music videos. It's just a lot of I don't know, just it seems just very cinematic. But yeah, it's used a lot. I did appreciate the beds in the forest. I thought that was interesting. So Doug did mention the Red String of Fate. I do love this piece of Eastern mythology. So he did mention it's primarily in Hotel de Luna in an episode. It is also in the anime Your Name. If you remember at the very end of the movie, where it's a big point of visual emphasis that they are connected over fates, even if they are separated through time and space. Gosh, like I'm getting chills thinking about it because I just like really love like the concept of being fated to meet someone. And I think this is a nice twist on it, where it's not necessarily a romantic fate to meet someone. It's a fate to be together as a group, to be performers, and to share their passion for music and being an idol with the rest of the world as a collective, as a unit. So, yeah, shout out to the visual metaphor and using that piece of mythology in a very aesthetically pleasing way. Because oftentimes it could be a throwaway or it could be something that you miss. But this is very clear. There's a lot of red lines, and it's a red string, clearly. What did you think about this being a throwback to the older AB6 sound? So I think the show mentioned Breathe and Lying for Love.
I honestly don't I didn't have that connection in my head when I first listened to that. I was just enjoying the song of all. It does take you back a bit to the past, but I personally don't think it's too similar. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
I'm the kind of person that is okay with revisiting old trends. It's never it's never too much of a barrier for me when a group like revisits a sound from 2 or 3 years ago. Insofar as like as long as it's modernized, right? It's like it's refined for the times. Obviously, if like you just copy and paste a song from 5 years ago, people are going to notice. But this seems like it's a current K-pop sound, but within the house genre. And I really appreciated the way Warren talked about house music, its malleability. It can be used in many different ways. I love house music. I was a rave kid back in the day. Back in the day, not even being that long ago. But it's just to me like this is the type of music that I like a lot because I don't know it kind of evokes like a chic like runway house vibe. Most recently, Chungha being the one who popularized it with several of her songs off her album. But yeah, I think this song for me is like my favorite song of it, by like just song of the week that I would actually go back to and put on a playlist. So I think that is
By the way,
yes.
it's not lying for love, it's blind for love.
Oh well, I made a typo, so great job me. It's fine. It's fine. People will go back into the discography and look for a song that sounds like what I had just said, or they'll listen to you because you are the voice of reason on this show. So here we are. Yeah. Was there any other thoughts you had about the song? I know the lack of clothing, running on the fabric was a thing that Doug mentioned. You know what? Sometimes you gotta cut corners on the budget when you got so much CGI. You got so many cuts and edits, you know.
He looked good, okay. Let him wear that.
I thought it was.
I ain't got a problem with it.
I thought what you said was interesting that like he doesn't appear to have like the physique until like just give him no clothes and then people will be like we'll notice now. There it is. But yeah, overall, I honestly for a boy group week. One song that I'll go back to, I think that's a win. 1 in 3.
Applause.
I think.
Oh my god.
I think we nailed it. I think it's way better than going 0 for 4. Am I right? Let's move on now to the Soju chart this week. A Soju chart that I very much agree with. So at number 3, we have a tie. We have Day 6, You Make Me, and P1 Harmony with Scared. Thanks to Warren for putting that song at number 1 and giving it 3 votes. You know, honestly, it's nice that Warren can put a little variety into the Soju chart because I don't know if I would have gone back to Scared had he not liked it so much. And I hope that other people who listen to the show, the many hundreds of thousands of people that listen to it between YouTube and iTunes and Spotify, that they would reconsider music because of the way certain things played out on the Soju chart. So I do think that's an overall net positive of how people experience and reevaluate music. Number 2, we have Enhypen with Drunk Dazed. And number 1, we have the future girl group rookie of the year, Stacy with ASAP.
I love how you just went away from aespa, left them alone, abandoned them, and just
if I'm gonna be frank,
Stacy.
If I'm going to just kind of show you the break the fourth wall, aespa was kind of a meme.
Oh my god.
But also it was just easy to like the group because 1, they're SM, so you know they're gonna have content. 2, if there's only 4 members, it's easy to know all the names now. 3, their TikTok was popping off. But
you didn't even have TikTok at that time.
You know, fan sites are really good about uploading videos, and especially like 10, 15 second TikToks. But Stacy hits different. Like, okay, if you like aespa's music, Cool. I think their music is well produced and they got a lot of money because SM. But Stacy's music, it's it. Like, come on. Like ASAP probably is going to be in my top 10 favorite songs of the year, if not top 5. But yeah. What did you think about the Soju chart this week, Koala?
It, I just don't have any strong feelings. Like, I would have probably put Day 6 at first. But the songs just don't hit me, you know? And next week could have been it, but I'm not here. But you gotta struggle because you got ITZY and Stacy, so have fun with that, sir.
I'm okay conceding Stacy to ITZY. Because
and BB. And BB. Don't forget that.
Yeah. I mean, there's 2, right? So Stacy will most likely be 3, if anything. But I think that's a good place for it to like transition out because it has been 4 weeks at that point. So we're on week 3 for Stacy.
Will it still be 3rd?
Well, right now with BB and ITZY.
BB, ITZY, ONT. And I don't know whether the crew's covering Hot Issue, so the group of that Cube dude that left Cube.
Yeah. Oh, that would be interesting. We'll have to see.
A lot of girl groups.
Yeah.
It's really very much female acts next week. Maybe it's good that I'm not there.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This week is 3 male performers in a row. Like, balance the scale a little bit. Give me something I want to listen to.
I only stand one of those groups.
It's fine. Yeah, I had something else to say, but you know what? Doug really liked Enhypen. I thought that was interesting. Not surprising, because I think with the way that Doug talks about K-pop and the things that he looks forward to, I think Enhypen does check all those boxes. But again, I think Stacy hits everyone the same, and you know, Stacy number 1. Let's go. Okay. Any closing thoughts on Soju chart this week?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's move on to State of the Nation. A little bit of a longer discussion this week, just because I did want to touch on one interesting point that Warren made. So he went down a rabbit hole. He went down a Wikipedia rabbit hole. He went down the Wikipedia rabbit hole for Super Mario Brothers universe. And I, for one, will say that I have done that for a number of topics in the past. And I feel for you, Warren. Especially when you go down like the unofficial Wikipedias or like Wikipedia fan wikis that just like it's a surprise every corner. You don't know where you're going. Sometimes you're on a page for 30 minutes and you realize this isn't what I wanted. I don't know how to go back. Or I've opened too many tabs. I'm at tab 50. And I don't know what to do.
Oh my god.
So with regards to the Super Mario universe, do you know anything about Super Mario, Koala? Is this part of your childhood?
I know what it is. What? Who doesn't know? What?
Well, I don't know. Like, did you play Mario growing up on what was the Nintendo system when you were a child?
DS.
I don't know.
Was my time.
I thought you were like 12 last year. Sorry.
Oh god.
The Wii, yes. Okay. Wii, DS. What was after Wii?
Wii U, DS,
Wii U.
3D shit.
Yeah.
I have a Switch at home.
And now there's a Switch. Okay, yeah. So really, Nintendo, consistent. Always consistent. I thought it was really cool that Warren talked about kind of the history of Waluigi and justice for Waluigi. I had no idea.
Man.
To me, like stuff like this is interesting because I really like video game history, and if any place for me to enjoy lore, it would be video games because you're actively engaged in it and experiencing the story, and it matters that you connect the dots because there are puzzles. That is the place where lore is applicable. I also thought it was interesting that Waluigi is not in Super Smash Brothers. I have played Super Smash Brothers my entire life. Yes, Super Smash Brothers is 80 years old. You didn't know that? Now you know. And yeah, I think I always question why that character was never put into the game when over the years you have Cloud from Final Fantasy, you have characters from Resident Evil, you have Ryu from Street Fighter.
You have that plant, that Mario plant, that red one.
Yeah, you have the actual plant that like jumps and like spits fire and like bites people. Yeah, there's just a number of characters from a number of different properties, and yet Nintendo owns Waluigi and will not put that character in Super Smash Brothers. And then we kind of know why, thanks to Warren's detective work. So, you know what? If I start the game again, I might, lead the charge about this Waluigi thing.
Oh God.
No promises though. I mean, life is busy as it is. But yeah, it's conversations like this that make me really want to play games again. I'll have certain like times throughout the year where I'll like close the curtains and just play video games for 16, 17, 18 hours straight. But yeah, haven't done that this year. I think with the pandemic and being locked up all the time has made me less inclined to want to do that because I just want to go outside. And I think that's a good thing. Any thoughts about Warren's video game rabbit hole diving in? Have you ever fallen into a rabbit hole on a certain topic, Koala?
Like Wikipedia or
yes,
just in general?
Wikipedia.
Not Wikipedia. German Wikipedia is trash.
Is it not the same Wikipedia?
German is a weird language, okay? I don't understand half of it.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't actually consider that. That Wikipedia would have to be translated, and sometimes the Google automatic translation isn't necessarily like the best because it doesn't capture certain context of how certain things should be translated. I should know this because when you translate certain Korean articles, you lose a lot in translation. You're like, oh, why are these sentences put together like this? Oh, because it's literally translated from this to this. Makes sense. So let's move on now to the State of the Nation Kingdom Edition. We had 3 groups go this week. The crew talked about them. The crew has some thoughts. Let's go through it one by one. We have SF9 covering the boys, The Stealer. This week is about pairing groups up and then doing covers of each other's song. The theme is Reborn. The crew had some interesting things to say. What were your overall thoughts about the songs selected and the stages this week?
So for SF9, I just got bad good guy vibes from like last year January because the suits reminded me of that, and they also had guns in the EMV, just like on the stage. The end was kind of different because at the end some dude was burning. I don't know what happened there, but it gave me like good guy vibes at the beginning, not musically but like visually, and I liked that.
I agree. This is Doug's favorite. After rewatching the performances, I will have to say this is my favorite as well. So I do also like the suits. I do like the balance of the theatrical with the performance, the choreography and the music. And I didn't notice it the first time, but there's that tempo shift in the middle of the performance where they go into like dubstep. But then it's fitting because it's like an action scene where like the camera shifts between like different places. And I think it ultimately lands on the guy like who gets set on fire. Yeah, I think this was actually, for what it was, for kind of the main premise of the show and what the show is focusing on, this is a really nice stage. I think Doug's questions about gun safety are valid. I too question gun safety, and it was funny that they had so many guns, and yet when there were knives on screen, they blurred that out. Did you notice that? Is that something in Korea where guns?
I don't know, but it was the same in Pandas, right? You remember when they blurred, weird stuff that didn't make sense.
Yeah, when things
So
were like
I,
used
I,
as a weapon, but guns are an actual weapon. So
I don't know.
yeah, the censored knife. I don't understand, but you could see it when they didn't censor it all the way, and it's like, oh, okay, it's clearly a knife. And then so the show that the next performance is O Solo Mio by the boys covering SF9, in parentheses the Red Wedding. Okay, so let me just at the top also agree with Doug. They need to ditch the Game of Thrones stuff because it almost feels excessive. Because yeah, like that's cool. There's a theme and everything, but there's already themes happening throughout the show naturally. And like SF9, between SF9 and the boys, that's a good example of showing not telling. So SF9 is clearly showing that they are following this thread of like action scenes, right? And like a crime drama between the two performances, where it's like, the boys, let us tell you that everything is tied together with a Game of Thrones theme by putting it in the title, and then performing, not actually using like the high fantasy aspects of Game of Thrones. It's just like red birdcage. Warren said that these are circus stunts. Please stop doing circus stunts. I thought that was very pointed. I will not go as far as to say that I completely agree for the sake of people who may like the boys. Let's just say I strongly agree. What are your thoughts about the boys, O Solo Mio?
I don't have any connections to Game of Thrones, so I can comment on that. I like O Solo Mio a lot, so I'm probably biased because I didn't really care for the stage. I just like how they danced to it and changed the music up a bit. So I don't have an issue with it actually. It just feels weird for them to try out new stuff every time because it just seems very forced.
When they played the song, I was like, oh, I like the song. And then it kind of felt like the song was lost on the stage. Like there was just a lot happening, and my brain kind of just like, there's a lot happening here. I don't know what to do. I will give them credit. The crew did mention that the boys are likely to be the best dancers, like in their opinion, and just how they compare between the groups. It does show that they are willing to push the limits of dancing and stunts. But again, it goes back to like the circus. Like, is this a circus performance or is this like a music performance? Like, where's the musicality? I think is the question that Warren would pose. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that question and that concern. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I mean, it does feel like they will plateau at some point, and if you like this style of performance, if you are the boys fan, who knows? Maybe they've done market research and they have analytics that says like the audience who watch Kingdom just want crazy performances and stunts, and that this will be successful. Who knows? But to me, like I think this falls too far on that side, where I can no longer actually connect with the music that's happening on stage. That's just me. Let's move on to the last group of the week. We have iKON.
iKON is back.
With Inception covering 80s. All right, go ahead, Koala. All you.
Will it help? Okay, so I'm still confused why they changed up the song so much. I didn't have a big problem with it, but if you're like an 18-y, I think it's 18-y, and full on expect Inception, you will be pretty disappointed because it's nothing like a Inception in the chorus. Overall, you could tell that every group now used the budget. So all the stages were like a lot more fancier, and the overall thing was with iKON is that I think like the stage designers just still haven't figured out how to spotlight the talent of each member really well, even though every member has their own part. That makes sense. Because I, as a fan, of course, will notice if, I don't know, DK gets his dance part because he's the main dancer and he shows off his talent and Bobby is just doing his thing. But for casual watchers, it might not be that interesting compared to the stunts. If you're into stunts, for instance, the icon performance won't like really grab you or something like that. So I don't know whether they would change it up. I just hope they would, because now it's just really every single member is on the screen and then they're dancing as a group and then there are some back dancers and it's just a mass of people and you can't actually see anything because it's very dark.
No, I don't want to harp on Queendom and make the comparison between the two shows, but I think this is appropriate. I think Queendom did a nice job of having a variety in genres, concepts, and stages to showcase and highlight each group's strength. I can distinctly remember Mamamoo doing, a performance-heavy stage for the first episode. The very next one was a ballad. And they literally just stood there all four singing on stage with something playing. Two completely different stages. I don't think we're going to get something like that on Kingdom. And I think it's a shame because, like you said, if you're a casual fan or a casual fan of the show and don't know iKON, how are you going to connect with the individual members with what they're good at? I think Queendom did a nice job of making that distinction, differentiating the stages within each group. So then you can learn about the members. You can learn about the backstory. We like iKON. We know what to look out for. Looking for Bobby's charisma. It's there. Bobby's got it for days. But then because all the stages do feel like they have to meet a standard of performance, you do get lost in the sauce, as Warren and Doug would put it. So, that's just a small criticism. Overall, I do think the stage is great. I think, like you said, larger budget, cool effects, cool allusions to the movie. Doug and Warren and Annie did mention how the buildings were moving. Bobby's jump back. So I do think it's an homage to his previous music video and also the kick that happens in the movie Inception. So that kick is the thing that wakes you up. And that there's also the spinning top at the very end. So cool idea to like incorporate the movie to the stage and to really change up the song because the song is like completely different. And I'm okay with that because I think it does allow for the song to stand on its own. But again, I don't know how well that works for casual fans or fans that don't know iKON. But for me, it worked just fine. Any closing thoughts on the overall stages and the show, Koala?
No.
We got some interesting stages coming up next week. I am looking forward to B2B and the Backdoor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just right now say that's going to be my favorite. I didn't watch the preview. I have no prior knowledge of anything. I will just say B2B covering Stray Kids is going to be epic regardless how it turns out. So I'm just going to say
I want to know whether they turn it into a ballad or not.
That would be amazing. A ballad with no choreography scene. Where like completely like a still stage, the camera's just like fixed on them and you're just watching them sing. I'm not going to attempt a rendition. I'm just going to let that play out in my imagination for the time being. All right, well, that closes our thoughts on Kingdom. Let us know what you thought. In the comments, on Discord. We have a Kingdom channel. It's popping off all the time. Shout out to MC. She is a very consistent contributor with Kingdom and opinions, and just how the K-pop world works. We got to know her really well during our Hotel de Luna watch, and she's very thoughtful about the things she has to say. So if you see her online, reply back to one of her messages because she goes in depth about a lot of things. So shout out to her. Moving on now to our weekly check-in, our closing thoughts. Koala, how are you? How was your week? What have you been up to?
I'm doing better now. Kingston, one of the participants of Youth With You, just posted on Instagram.
You know, we're doing a show right now.
I got the notification.
To be fair, I got a notification that Arin posted photos as well, so I was looking at that, and you know, I can call myself out. That's cool. You know, it's fine. I'm okay with that. Well, before I go into Arin, what was Kingston's photos, and why are you now distracted from the actual show?
He posted something. His last post was like last year, and he only has 2 posts.
Oh, that's actually a big deal. I can understand. That makes sense now.
And he's a YG trainee. They normally don't let them post a hell lot.
Well, I think he has a lot of exposure now because of the show, so I think they're more lenient of allowing that to happen.
Oh my god. I'm still looking forward to his stage with Lisa. This week? Yes, this week. Thursday or Saturday. I don't know when they will air. They will probably push Lisa back to Saturday.
Hey, when that YouTube video comes out, you know, send that over. I will watch that several times.
It's probably not available in your country.
I don't understand. I really don't.
Because, you know, I've thought about why the views on like the stages are so low. I know that it's less popular this year than Chuang, but I got it because they blocked this shit in the US, and most of the views were from the US the past years, so it makes sense why the views are so low for the videos.
Do you know why they would block YouTube videos regionally when the main website with the entire episode is, it feels like it's available around the world, but YouTube is regionally blocked? I'm asking. I have no clue why they would do that.
I don't get it. I know that you can you were able to like watch single videos, but like the important stages were not available for you.
That seems problematic.
So I'm just confused.
A little problematic. Is the voting open globally?
Yes, but the Chinese people have way more chances to vote because they can buy that weird juice they are.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Promoting.
If you don't know about that juice, it's a juice that you buy, like a box, a packet.
Contribute. To contribute votes.
Yeah, and then that is.
So it's basically if you're rich and you have rich fans and maybe a rich parent, Jackie. I'm not talking about rigging. No. Then you would probably make it.
Rigging in a competition show? I've never heard of that before.
I don't know. His father's a shareholder of Vivo, the company that's like helping the show, and in every ad, every 5 minutes. So I don't know what I'm talking about.
That seems unlikely. I have no clue what you're talking about. Moving on now to girl group stuff. Okay, so 2 things. So Arin posted photos. I'm dying. Oh My Girl is coming back. It seems like they're going completely into cute again, which I'm here for. I said this before the show. I think that they were heavily influenced by all their Pororo songs and promotions this past year after Nonstop. Power to them, because they probably got a lot of money from that. Yeah, Arin looks great. God, it's painful how great she looks. And something not Oh My Girl related. So Alexa is popping off. She's doing great with her YouTube channel. She recently posted a mukbang with Latin food, a Latin food restaurant in Korea. I forgot the name of it. I apologize. So for all of you people in Korea, I don't have the name of the restaurant for you to check out, but she is full of energy. I would even venture to say she's full of crackhead energy. I love it. Yeah, Alexa's great. She does a really good job of like talking about the food, and it really does show that, you know, her country of origin. No, where she immigrated from. Well, I think she was born in the United States. Was she?
What? Who are you asking?
Okay, I'm getting a lot of things like confused and mixed up. Well, she grew up in the United States, and she did say she has a lot of Latin American friends, and like Latin food was very much part of her upbringing. So it was really cool to see her like be so excited about Latin food, and the fact that the restaurant had so many different styles of the same dish from different countries. That was pretty cool. Let's talk about the Oscars. What'd you feel? How did you like the winner for best supporting female lead actor? Best supporting female actor in a movie.
Harmony.
Harmony. So Yoon Yoo-jung, she plays the grandmother in Minari. She won for best supporting actress. It was an excellent moment. She had a lot to say about the situation. TLDR, the production company is called Plan B. They're essentially run by Brad Pitt, and because it's an indie movie, it was very difficult for them to get the appropriate amount of funds for certain things like flights and promotions and a number of things. And her being the amazing human being and woman she is, she called them out and said, next time you might want to consider giving international actors a more comfortable situation to travel between countries instead of using their own money to upgrade to first class or business class. I thought that was amazing. I think overall the Oscar winners and nominations to me felt like they opened it up to diversity, which is always a positive. I think Daniel Kaluuya still said it best. There's a lot of work to be done. If you don't know Daniel Kaluuya, he won for Judas and the Black Messiah for supporting male actor. The movie is excellent. And I think the Hollywood is still primarily old white men. And I don't mean that to diminish white people and people of a certain age. I'm just saying kind of the facts of what the academy is made up of, and how you get entry into the academy and that you're essentially there for life. That said, once the generations and eras start to phase certain members out to introduce more members in, I think we are going to start to see a shift into more genuine representation. I think right now, in my opinion, the representation is mildly forced. I say mildly because obviously the people who are nominated and selected deserve to be there, but there's still, to me, the sense that it's white people making the decision to save face or to show that they are being progressive. Again, not a completely terrible thing, but again, like sometimes it's obvious when you know that there are certain people in positions of authority and power making decisions for the sake of making decisions as opposed to genuine sincerity. That said, a lot of really cool winners this year. I want to give a shout out to Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. She won for Best Picture and Best Director. I have followed her for years. She did a movie called The Rider several years ago. It's a really deep, meditative modern Western. Nomadland is a very similar modern American story. It doesn't feel like it's done by an Asian American person, and yet it's so spiritually healing. And I think it kind of goes to show that whatever your background is, if you can tell a great story, you should be allowed to tell a great story. Shout out to Denmark. So another round one for best. I forget what the category is. Is it best foreign or best international? They keep changing it. But best international film or foreign language film is another round from Denmark. Mads Mikkelsen is the lead. He's amazing. He was in Hannibal, Casino Royale, Rogue One. Look him up. Shout out to Joe Cab. Shout out to your people. You did great. This has been Champagne Talk, Oscar Talk. Cole, any thoughts about the Oscars? I know that you wanted to stay up to watch the winner for Halmini, for Young Yoo-jung. But what was your thought process wanting to see her win?
I I just really liked her character in the movie, and I thought that she was probably like the most palpable person in that out of like all the nominees that could win after she won all. What was the other thing she won where she called out British people? I don't remember it anymore. But anyway, typical me not being able to sleep, so I thought I would maybe stay up. I didn't last long. I lasted an hour into the whole thing.
Yeah. The ceremony itself, I did not watch. I will just say, I don't want to. This is not a hot take show, but I have kept up with the Oscars and Oscar news and have listened and read to what a lot of people have said about the ceremony. I will simply say, it's 3 hours of my life I'm glad I spent somewhere else. That's all I'll say. If you want to look up what the issues were with the Oscars and everything that went down, go ahead. I, for one, personally think that the Oscar selection and the Oscar winners, I will not take anything away from them. I think it's time to celebrate them. I think they did a fine job with cinema for this year, even if the Oscars in and of itself is literally for niche audiences. I would say, me being a film person, I only saw about 60 to 75% of the movies. And all these movies were available on streaming. So I can imagine that like the general audience probably hadn't seen most of these movies this year. And there was not enough in the ceremony to let you know what the movies were about. That's all I'll say. Any closing thoughts for the week, Koala? Anything you're looking forward to?
Youth with you. Youth with you. That's it. That's my only thing that I'm looking forward to in the weekend. Treasure, man. It's school. It just ended. Please. I have like 2 months more to go.
I mean, sometimes the simplest things to get us by are just that. The simplest things that we need. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But but you know, when times are tough, you just fall back to the familiar. And Youth with You and Treasure, I feel like are really nice staple foundational things to help you get through your day, your year, and all the ups and downs of life. So you know what, power to you. I support. For me, Soju Sessions has been really great. Kind of a behind the scenes on how I put that show together. Not too much behind the scenes. I do a lot of writing. I do a lot of research. I pick a topic. I think about a guest who would best fit that topic. And then I research the crap out about that topic. So I did a lot of research last night. And I think it's going to be interesting this week. That's all I'll say. I think it's going to be a little bit longer this week because I can say this part. There's going to be 2 interviews about a similar topic, and I'm going to put them together. That's all I'll say. Yeah. And it seems like for me, life is starting to pick up a little bit. I don't want to jinx it, so I won't say it yet. But there are things in the works that will hopefully make me busy in the next month. Yeah, in the next month. Hopefully I'll be a lot busier because of that. Final word, Koala. Anything you want to say to anybody?
Nope.
All right. Well, that closes this week with the SojuTalk Nation. Thank you for listening to the SojuTalk Nation Podcast, episode 16.
Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify or your preferred podcast platform, and continue the conversation on the SojuTalk Kpop Podcast Discord.
This has been the SojuTalk Nation. For Koala, this is Crispy. Bye.
Bye.